And there's the minute expired, so we'll start that right turn now towards the 093 track, which is inbound on the procedure turn, towards the final approach track. And we're keeping these turns here at standard rate, or rate 1 turn as we call it in Europe. And you can calculate this standard rate turn by taking your airspeed, dividing it by 10 and adding 7. So we're doing about 90 knots now. If we divide that by 10, gives us 9, plus an extra 7 is 16 degrees. So let's have a look at our angle of bank here. So yeah, we're doing about 16 degrees angle of bank, and what we can also do is cross-check that with the turn coordinator here, which will allow us to make sure that that's correctly calibrated. As we establish ourselves onto the inbound portion of this procedure turn, we're going to be looking at the relative bearing, and we want to start our turn to the final approach at or just before the needle is showing 45 degree relative bearing to the right, because that will be the final approach track. So if we're heading on 093, plus an extra 45 degrees will be 138, which is the final approach track. Okay, so we're just coming up to that 093 heading now. We're going to level the wings, have a look at the ADF, and that's actually showing 35 degrees relative bearing to the right, which means that we need to keep the turn going in order to establish onto this final approach track without going through it. And because of this, I've increased the angle of bank slightly to avoid going through that final approach track so that we intercept it quite nicely. Alright, so we're about to hit that